Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well this morning. I just wanted to get on here real briefly and just send my shout outs and condolences to comedian and activist Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory is real outspoken during the 1960s. Starting out as a comedian, he made lots of comedy about race relations and doing satire about segregation and just basically just making light of a serious situation, doing it in a way that would just bring joy to people. Even though we all know that racism, white supremacy is nothing to laugh at, Dick Gregory found a way to make people understand and laugh at the same time. He also became real popular in the civil rights movement, as well as the Black Power movement, writing several books. One of them being called, and I quote, "Nigger and Autobiography." And he breaks down the N-word, as it was used back then, making some very interesting points. When he was actually asked about that book, why he chose that title, he said to the effect of, why do people call it the N-word? Call it what it is. Which is, well, yeah, can't argue with that one. Dick Gregory was also really big on health. He tried to use, he came up with different health tips for black people to live better. Some of them, I can remember the Bahamian diet, which is a really interesting weight loss program that he came up with. And he was just really big on eating right and living right, which is something that black people definitely need to look into. Anyway, our health habits, yours truly speaking. Dick Gregory, yeah, he was also good as outspoken as an actor and an entrepreneur. He's been in different movies. One movie in particular I can think of, the 1995 movie Panther, which starred Mario Van Peebles and Courtney Vance. So, yeah, he was very active. Dick Gregory was definitely a man that would not be stilled for anything. Even when he was diagnosed with lymphoma, he succumbed a few days ago of a bacterial infection. A lot of that complications related to heart failure. But Dick Gregory was definitely one of the legends in the civil rights movement. He's championed causes as far as standing up for human rights, standing up against sexism. One of his tools for protesting was hunger strikes. He once protested 2 years. He did a hunger strike, no solid food for 2 years, protesting the Vietnam War, which is very remarkable. But Dick Gregory was just one of those stalwarts who was not going to be stopped or lay down for nobody. He was just that type of guy. But from what I remember about Dick Gregory, he was just a stand-up guy. He was a comedian, as I stated before. He started his career out in comedy, and then he got into civil rights. One of the things he did as his political side, he ran for mayor of Chicago in 1967. And true story, when he was running for mayor of Chicago, of course he lost to, when he was running for mayor of Chicago, then FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover contacted the FBI director at the time, Marvin Johnson of the Chicago office, and ordered Johnson to contact the outfit to neutralize Dick Gregory during his campaign, or some things he said about the outfit. And for those who don't know what the outfit is, the outfit was the Chicago office. Wasn't an office. The outfit was the Chicago division, chapter. Anyway, the Chicago outfit was just a branch of the mafia that was based in Chicago. Dick Gregory made some comments in his jokes about La Cosa Nostra, which they found not very amusing. So this is the first time I've actually heard of an acting law enforcement agency working with an organized crime unit to neutralize someone. So that was quite interesting in itself. Then in 1968, he ran for president of the United States in a losing effort. And in both of these campaigns, he was a write-in candidate, which is not even heard of. But he ran for president of the United States, lost to George Wallace, who was then governor of Alabama. George Wallace is a famous segregationist governor and so he was real known as being a real promoter for segregation back in the 60s. But Dick Gregory was definitely a force to be reckoned with in the Black Power movement. He's also advised many people. He advised Michael Jackson during his trial. He spoke at the funeral of James Brown. Dick Gregory is going to be missed. He was definitely, if I may, a balls to the wall, hardcore, no holds barred, and spoke his mind about issues with no apologies. That was the type of material that Dick Gregory is made out of. He was truly, he broke barriers at a time when it wasn't popular to do so. He did things that most comedians wouldn't have done. Dick Gregory is responsible for who Bill Cosby is today, because without Dick Gregory opening up the doors he did, Bill Cosby wouldn't have been able to do what he did. Dick Gregory was also a comedian who didn't tap dance or sing to go into his act. He just came out there and straight out said what he needed to say and then get off the stage. But that's the type of person that Dick Gregory was. He was definitely one of our greats, and he's going to be missed. My condolences to his family, and just want his light to shine and pay my tribute and to my respects to an activist and comedian who will definitely go down in history as saying what he wanted to say when it wasn't popular to do so, and doing what he wanted to do. Dick Gregory has done he has so many other attributes to his legacy also that are so numerous to even name. But if Dick Gregory was still around today, he would probably give Donald Trump a run for his money. I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to send my condolences and send my shout-outs and make my comments remembering Dick Gregory. Thank you all. Talk to you later.